Yo, what's up everyone? This is time to wrestle with Suplexis, and today I'm gonna review Money in the Bank that took place in the site of 2 out of 3 pay-per-views for wrestling that I have attended, being SummerSlam 2019 and Takeover Toronto that year, and which, as the last pay per view I said would imply, was in Toronto tonight. Money in the Bank. Let me review it. I'm really familiar with this venue. That's where those two shows were. But let's get started with the ladders. And there were some ladder bridges tonight. I'll get to that later. There were many ladder bridge spots, but today I found uh, the spots they did, like a few looked really good, but some of them, they weren't pretty. They weren't crazy moves. It was just rough. It was just people slamming other wrestlers or wrestlers slamming other wrestlers onto ladders on the sharp edge of it. It was like barbaric, all the moves they did. It wasn't high off the top of the ladder for the most part. It was just stiff. It was painful. It looked rough. They're landing on heads, their heads first into the ladder. It was pretty rough. As you see, this was the closing moment of the men's Money in the Bank match. DM Hunk, Drew McIntyre just lawn darts a ladder straight at Jey Uso, I Chris Jericho in 2008, and I believe Mr. Kennedy in 2007. He just launders that ladder at Jey Uso, and Drew McIntyre wins, and this was a really good Money in the Bank match, and it was really different because it was just stiff moves, like normal moves you'll see in matches, but with the ladder involved, with the ugly landings, oh man, it was brutal. But this was a very good ladder match, a great, dare I say, amazing, great ladder match to start. Much better than last year's men's Money in the Bank ladder match. Drew McIntyre wins. I'm excited, but in the back of my head, I'm hoping he doesn't choke again like he did at Mania and Clash at the Castle in a world title match, but we will get to that later. So the next match was Braun Breaker versus Sami Zayn, and this one to me kinda disappointed. Like, I believe the first 2/3 of the match were extremely slow to me. Like, the, on the build on Monday Night Raw, they're running at each other. Braun was sprinting around the ring. It was tough maneuvers, tough maneuvers. But here, it started very slow with Braun just throwing him around. And I didn't expect that, really. I thought it'd be faster paced, this matchup. And in the end, Sami Zayn won. This is probably. It was good, don't get me wrong. Maybe alright or good. But even with it being alright to good, it's probably the weakest Intercontinental title match on pay per views this year, in my opinion. But it was alright. I expected a bit more, but they went out there, they wrestled a match, and it was alright to me. So, the next match. Whoa, whoa. I'm getting carried away. This was a very surprising moment in the night. I was expecting the World Heavyweight Championship match between Seth Rollins and Damian Priest, but John Cena comes out. So to me, I was like, he's gonna say, let's bring WrestleMania to Toronto. Rah rah. Biggest attendance. The usual John Cena shtick. heel comes out, he beats him up, but then he said, "I'm gonna retire." And like, listen, Roman Reigns, he's been my dude for since 2014. He's been my guy. But John Cena, he's always kind of been around. And I got respect for him for what he did for the wrestling business. This caught me off guard, man. And but afterwards, he did clarify because I was like, yeah, I was thinking there's no way this guy is just gonna retire without having a retirement match. And then he says, Royal Rumble next year will be my last. Chamber next year will be my last. WrestleMania next year will be my last. And it's later revealed he's retiring at the end of 2025 and he's gonna have one more run, a year-long run, I heard. So to me, that means like he'll do sporadic appearances, maybe at SummerSlam and like Crown Jewel, Survivor Series, those shows, Bad Blood, I don't know. Maybe that. We'll get to that show later. But I'm thinking it might just be from December of this year to December of next year, 1 year long run in WWE. We'll see. This kind of caught me off guard, but now it's like I'm gonna appreciate this guy much more. Like I didn't appreciate him enough before, but it's his final run. It makes sense. It sucks, but it makes sense because his matches recently have been quite a bit slower, like the Solo Cool one, the Austin Theory one. So just gotta enjoy him while he's still around. John Cena, he is one of the greatest. He is probably top 5 or top 10 greatest to do it. So his farewell tour begins now, and we'll see who he fights. I'm curious if he's gonna go for a 17th title. I wouldn't mind him winning the Rumble for like second person to win 3 Rumbles, but we'll see. And now let's discuss the World Heavyweight Championship match. So it was Damian Priest versus Seth Rollins for the championship. Now, this match in the beginning, it was pretty good, but you could kind of see, yeah, Seth Rollins, he just came back. He wrestled last at WrestleMania. Doesn't have like the same speed, but it was a different type of match and it was alright. And then it got awkward because Seth hit the Falcon's arrow after countering 2 of Damien's Falcon's arrows, or broken arrow, I believe Damien Priest calls it. So he did that. He went for the cover, 1-2. The ref acted like he kicked out, but he didn't. So right there, I'm not sure what happened. Everyone makes mistakes, though. That's the name of the game in wrestling. Like Damian Priest, don't get me wrong. He's been on a legendary like that Drew McIntyre match was very good. Everyone makes mistakes. I don't know what happened here. Maybe he got concussed because he wasn't on the post show for Money in the Bank and he was advertised. So I'm assuming that injury went down. Anyways, after this, they had Drew McIntyre come out to cash in his Money in the Bank. And right here, I I thought about it, like I think they might have called an audible because it was early into the match. It didn't feel like he got to third gear and Drew already cashed in. So I think there was an injury and it was supposed to go longer, but Drew cashed in. It felt like part of me was like, are they gonna call an audible? Is Damien injured? Is Seth gonna win the title? But in the end, Seth Rollins got took out of the ring. He got taken out by a Claymore kick, I believe. And CM Punk came out to screw Drew over again. Now, this is crazy. Like, the MVP, uh, the MVP of WWE, maybe for this year, Drew McIntyre, been doing all this stuff, but he's been screwed over so much by this guy. Like, the balls on Triple H to pull this, because the Royal Rumble, Punk eliminated him. WrestleMania, Punk beat up Drew McIntyre, left him as easy pickings after Drew just won the world title for Damien to cash in and take the title right off of him. Then you get Clash at the Castle, Drew's home country. They've never had a pay-per-view there, but Drew is fighting for the title, and Punk comes out just as a ref to screw him over. And then tonight, CM Punk comes out to screw Drew McIntyre out of the Money in the Bank. So that's a chamber win and Money in the Bank thrown away thanks to CM Punk and a match in his hometown and the Royal Rumble. Oh my gosh. The balls on Triple H. I don't think anyone's been screwed over this bad by one person. Uh, like, right now, thinking on the spot, I can't think of any time that's happened. Maybe Edge and La Familia screwing over The Undertaker. Even then, probably not. This is crazy. Triple H, biggest cojones, as I have here. I had DM Punk before because he won the briefcase, but now it's crossed out in the CM Punk red and silver colors. And now it's CM Punk. Oh boy, SummerSlam, they're gonna be on a collision course. I can't wait. And the next match was an absolute banger of a match. It was the women's Money in the Bank, and on the screen, I have the most brutal spot, I think, out of all the matches tonight. Io Sky hitting a Michinoku driver on Zoe Stark on the ladder. Holy shit. Like, this is the most brutal Michinoku driver I've ever seen. Zoe sold it like crazy. Io got folded in half. It was nuts. And the match in general was amazing. It was great, amazing. And that's the best part. The two matches tonight, they stand side by side as like pretty much equal. So this one took a little bit to get started in the beginning, but the matches were like pretty much the same quality of being a good match. This one had a better finish to me with Tiffany pushing Chelsea off the ladder. That one, the men's one, had a quicker start to it. So both of them and did good in like different categories. They're probably the same quality. Io Sky to me was the MVP of this ladder match, taking the most bumps, especially this one. And the men's match, I would say Andrade was the MVP of that ladder match, but overall, everyone showed out tonight. Tiffany Stratton wins the briefcase. On the press conference, she said she'd make it pink, she'd bedazzle it. So let's see where that takes us for SummerSlam and beyond. But banger of a match. This and the men's Money in the Bank match were the best of the night, in my opinion. And now it's time for the main event. This was underwhelming. To put it simply, this match was underwhelming. Like, the, it was relatively slow, the action in the match. There's a rough bump at the end. Like, and here I was thinking, okay, every time they do a rough bump in a big time match, it's a new Polynesian wrestler that comes out. Whether it is Tamatonga, well, that was the night after. But whenever like drama happens like this, Tamatonga came in first, Tangaloa, Jacob Fatu. When Cody was hitting the crossroads for a moment, I thought The Rock was gonna hit him with the weight belt, but Solo just beat him. And like eh, the worst thing, the the worst thing a show could do, in my opinion, is leave you saying that's it. I kind of did here. And the rest of the show was very consistent, pretty good. Like 3 out of 5 matches delivered to me, but this one was not it. And it kind of dragged the quality down of the overall show. I think Clash at the Castle was a better show because it was consistent throughout every single match. This one, the two Money in the Banks were the best, and the Damien and Seth triple threat, you could say, was third place. But this show, it was like a roller coaster, up and down. So overall, I give this show a B. A B grade, I think, is appropriate for this show. And I am not done yet. I am really excited about the future, regardless of my thoughts on this show. It got a B grade. It's a good show to me. Good. So now I'll talk about the future. Wrestling this for the next few months is gonna be hot. Let's go to SummerSlam first. So, like the two world title matches, I'm not too excited for those, honestly. Solo versus Cody, it feels like it's Cody's match to win, with Roman Reigns making a return in it to stare down Solo Sikoa and cost him the match. And Damian Priest and Gunther, I'm gonna give them some time because I don't know what kind of story they're looking to tell with that, but I'm not intrigued at the moment with that match. Like Damien and Drew, Damien and Seth, that was more intriguing than this upcoming match will be. But let's give it time. Let's give it a couple of weeks. Let's see what they do. And I kind of want Damien to win. I know it wouldn't make much sense because they're pushing Gunther like crazy, but I think Damien, there's more story potential with him holding that title longer. And some other matches that could happen. Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan. I think if Rhea's back, that's gotta be the match. And Bailey and Nia Jax. I see Tiffany Stratton getting involved and walking out of SummerSlam as champ, whether Bailey retains and she cashes in, or whether Nia wins and Tiffany cashes in. We'll have to see. Maybe Tiffany holds it longer. Potentially, she holds it longer. Because last year, Io cashed in at SummerSlam. So, if they do a SummerSlam cash in 2 years in a row, I don't know if they'd want to do that. She might hold it longer. We'll see. Especially with the customized briefcase, it'll be longer than a month probably. And now I'll discuss. Oh, one more thing. CM Punk Drew McIntyre for SummerSlam. I want a double turn in that match. CM Punk, he's been the guy costing Drew the big time matches. Sure, Drew has beat him up on Raw and SmackDown, but Punk costed him the matches when it mattered most. So I feel like a double turn is necessary in that match for Drew to come out of it as the face and Punk to win and turn heel in the process. All in London. This is a show I'm actually definitely attending in Wembley Stadium. I've never been to a stadium show before. I'm pretty excited. Will Ospreay and MJF, that is the match for the show. That is the match that people are gonna look back on for the show. I think it could potentially, as crazy as it sounds, I think it could be better than the Bryan Danielson match at Dynasty. Will Ospreay, maybe he loses maximum heat on MJF. We'll see. And the Hangman Page feud with Swerve, we'll see where that goes. Might pick up a bit more than it previously did. Mercedes and Britt Baker, that should be a good match. Let's see what type of story they tell. Tony Storm and Mariah May, that's been building for a while. That should be good. So, Bad Blood. This is the show actually. I think it's going to have the best card out of all of them. I honestly do. I think we see Roman versus Solo. They started at SummerSlam. It culminates at Bad Blood. And they have a match to open, maybe. It's in Cody's home state of Georgia, the Bad Blood show. So I think he's gonna have a big match. Maybe Randy Orton. They've been teasing that, teasing Randy Orton looking at the WWE Championship, and CM Punk versus Drew inside Hell in a Cell. That's what the whole show is built around to me, and I'm hoping to see plenty of other amazing matches on that show. And that's it for the video. Thank you for watching my Money in the Bank review. If you've stuck around this long, thank you for listening to my thoughts on future shows that could happen that I'm excited for. For me, it's over the time, over these three pay-per-views, it's progressively more hype in the card that they're gonna come up with. But thanks for watching. This has been Suplexis. I hope you have an amazing day. I hope you enjoyed this review,